Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 154 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. Before we start this show, we want to give our sympathies to the friends and family of Jesse Pierce, NHL correspondent for the Minnesota Wild, who tragically passed away in a home fire along with her 3 young children. Our thoughts and our prayers are with family and friends. Boys, it's been a pretty crazy week. I know after that message, it's a little hard to get going here, so we'll do our best. But a lot of playoff implications, a lot of games with playoff implications that went back and forth. There was a lot of action this week. It's been fun. It's been fun. The NHL has been a really good place to be distracted of all other things going around in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I think it was really cool hearing some of the stuff that was going out. Like, you can tell the pressure's on as a lot of these teams are trying to fight for a playoff spot right now. And every win, every loss is being put under a microscope. I know here in Montreal, a lot of people were very down on the Habs until yesterday's performance. And people were starting to say, like, why is this coach doing this? Why is he doing that? So you're always under a microscope at this time of the year. And pressure is a privilege. So these guys are really trying to fight through it right now. And hopefully you guys can fight through it as well.
Yeah, I saw a post or a tweet, whatever they call it these days. It was Habs fans. Their vibe this week was either 0 or 100, nothing in between, and it's going to be like that till the end of the season. It was fire St. Louis after they lost to Detroit. It was New Hook is nothing. Demidov sucks. Jack Eye is the next coming of Bobby Orr. He should be playing 25 minutes a game. And,
why didn't we do anything as a deadline? Everything came out.
Call up Reinbacher, who suddenly now everybody loves suddenly, right? But anyways, it's fun. That's how you know it's good.
That's how you know the race is close. So we're good with that. So who's doing the odd man rush? Well, before the odd man rush, I mean, you guys know the routine.
Come on, Vince, wake up, Vince.
Come on, you guys need to follow, subscribe, like, comment. I mean, we're getting there. Download. What's the at
Download
partial
and
break
listen.
pod?
At
download
partial
and
break
listen, like
pod
I do
on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Like and subscribe on YouTube at Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Guys, we have a listener question from TikTok on one of the posts about Jacob Fowler, where Nick said it might be better to send him down and not ruin his confidence in the playoffs, depending on what the Habs' plans were. Anyways, we'll get to it. But if ever you have listener questions, just shoot it over and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. But without further ado, to the crux of this episode, the Odd Man Rush.
Odd Man Rush! Odd Man Rush!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the segment where we take news and notes and trends of the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes, which usually last 3 minutes because some of my co-hosts don't know when to stop talking. This segment is sponsored by Sportira. Visit their website at www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Follow them on Instagram as well at sportira.apparel. guys, let's get this started. I mean,
Oh,
we're talking about the greatest, I think, commentary that I've ever heard from Connor McDavid, where he literally said that compared to the other divisions, the Pacific Division is a pillow fight. That's some harsh but true, probably, words spoken by Mr. McDavid. Um, and he kind of gave a jab at the coaching staff as well during that interview, while complimenting the Tampa Bay Lightning and their approach and their way of doing things. But Junior, like, tell me more about this because I only know of it from some social media posts. But maybe you being our TMZ expert will probably have some inside scoops.
I'll read you the exact quote, okay? They got a great system. He was talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning, but it came across as jabs towards his coaching staff, okay? So they got a great system. They're perfectly coached. They all know what they're doing all over the ice. It's impressive. They have a great team. They're extremely well coached. They're extremely well organized. They're very, very rehearsed in everything they do. It's very impressive. And when you do break them down, they got a heck of a goalie to backstop them. And then he was asked how they can get to that place, and he's like, "That's a coach question. You can ask Knobber that question."
Oh,
Obviously, we've been playing together for a long time, and we feel like we're somewhat rehearsed and organized, but not to their level. So, I mean, he's clearly not happy. But this could come across as two ways. One, as captain of the Edmonton Oilers, I don't know if you want to be the one to be giving jabs to your coach, and maybe even if you're not responsible, but like take accountability, make sure the players are being held accountable rather than dumping the excuses on the coach. But at the end of the day, when it's coming from McDavid, that means like this has been spoken about. This is something internally that's been going on that they've been trying to fix, and that clearly hasn't been fixed. So he's probably losing patience. Draisaitl's out for the rest of the year. Might miss a bit of games in the playoffs if they even make it. So one of the questions of the day this week was, can the Oilers make the playoffs without Draisaitl? And a lot of the comments were, how is that even a question? Of course, yes, yes. And then slowly, as the week was going along, it was nope, nope. Only because their division isn't good. And so, anyways, they're likely to make the playoffs, and they're probably going to go on a deep run just because nobody's going to be expecting them to. But it sure seems like there's a bit of a dumpster fire starting in Edmonton.
I mean, can we agree that McDavid's commentary is a frustrated player?
Oh yeah,
right? I mean, like Vince, when you hear comments like that from McDavid, I mean, I don't want to bring this into is he going to resign there and like all these comments and silliness that we've spoken about before. But I want to know, like, is he really frustrated? Is this coaching staff the right coaching staff moving forward? Like, how do they fix it?
I think it's showing I think right now is the first time in McDavid's career where we're seeing that he is being frustrated and is asking for change. And the reason why, not the reason, in the example of, it's always the same topics with the Edmonton Oilers of why they can't take the next step. Goaltending, system, defense. Like it's always that. It's not like 1 year. Oh, you know what? Their offense. It's literally always goaltending, defense, system, and I think it's just someone who's realizing that. Not that his time is almost done because it's not, but that it's coming there. He's past his halfway career with the NHL and hasn't won it yet, and that's where the pressure falls on him. And now, I mean, he took the contract he did to give a chance for the Edmonton Oilers to do something with it. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he thinks they're doing enough. So I think the whole Tristan Jarry trade was just. I think that's what flew him off the kite.
And also like Jarry getting upset with them and telling them how to, like they're not defending, and he was a newbie there. Like that too didn't rub players the right way.
hold on. What's flew him off the kite? What does that mean?
Blew him off the kite. Like, hello,
I
if
need
you
to
didn't have
understand this
you haven't
saying.
heard that one yet, Nick, well, you gotta be back in the Gen Z, man. That's how they talk.
Jeez, wow. I must
Flew
be
him off
really
the
old.
kite. That should be the name of this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. Blew him off the kite.
But wait, I just want to specify in case
Flew him
the
off the
listeners are
kite.
not aware of what's going on in that division. But Anaheim is in first with 80 points. The Oilers are in second with 77. The Golden Knights are in third with 76. And then I believe it's the LA Kings who are out of a playoff spot with 72. The reason this is such a big deal is because all the top three teams in the Pacific Division would not make the playoffs with those amount of points if they were in the Eastern Conference.
Well, my understanding is if Toronto was actually in the West this year, they would be 4 points out of a playoff spot right now.
Wow.
Mm,
So
Wow.
that gives you a little bit of insight on how bad the West has been.
yeah.
That also
But
gives you a bit of an insight of how bad Toronto's been. That's like
let's
tied in
move.
points with San Jose Sharks.
Let's move to the East. All right, because there's one player that isn't complaining as much as McDavid is, and makes about the same amount of money,
No, he
give
makes
or
$9 million.
a lot less money, is Kucherov. So Kucherov with a 4 point night versus the Oilers, believe it or not, 12 points in his last 3 games. The Hart Trophy is his to lose, according to TMZ Jr. Um, is he making the case for being the best Russian player to have ever played in the NHL? Vince, you know Russians better than anyone. You tell me.
Oh, really? How are you? Um, I think the Hart Trophy is his to win. Do I think he's the greatest Russian or that is making a case? No. I mean, Alex Ovechkin is Russian. He holds the the goal. I think he just scored his 1,000th goal, if I'm not mistaken, in the NHL. So, is he in the conversation in the top 10 greatest Russians? Yeah, 100%. But I mean, we can't forget there's Fedorov, Mogilny, Pavel Bure, Datsuk, Zubov. I mean, there's still Malkin, Larionov. There's a lot of Russians that went through the NHL that like had their stamp in the NHL. So um, I believe Kucherov is a phenomenal player who, unlike what Junior says, I think he gets the recognition that he deserves.
You said he's not even in the top 10 of best Russians ever to play in the National Hockey League. Are
No,
you
I
Oh,
wild
said,
or
here we
what?
go
I
again.
said, I said he cracked the top 10. So you put Kucherov in front of Ovechkin?
I put him at number two. You can't put someone who
Oh,
has the most goals in the NHL ever
okay.
at number two. But
So
Kucherov's
you're
number
gonna
two.
put. Oh,
Point per game. He's the best Russian player ever to play in the National Hockey League. Point per game.
okay, but Fedorov, 3 Stanley Cups, 2 Selke trophies, one Hart Memorial, one less to be
That's not
Pearson.
better than Kuch.
Plus, was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2015.
The only thing he has more than Kuch is the third Stanley Cup. Actually, no, Kuch has 3 Stanley Cups. Because he had 2018, 2019, plus he won in back-to-back 23, 24.
Junior,
He's
Junior,
got three
I
Hart
understand,
trophies,
but all these guys played in the NHL when we weren't scoring 8 goals a game. We were scoring 2 to 3 goals a game,
but it's point per
and
game. Then
yeah,
calculate the point per game, and he's the
but
best one ever.
point per game. But that's exactly point per game. In when Fedorov used to play in the NHL, you used to score. They used to score how many goals? A game never finished 7-3 like against Edmonton, and you collect 4 points. The NHL is much more open now than it was when
Pavel
Larionov
Bure and Malkin average 1.1 points per game. They were able
okay,
to do it.
but
They were
I'm
able
talking
to do
about
it.
Fedorov. I'm talking about Pavel Bure. I'm talking about McGillney. Pavel Bure had
McGillney was the number 6 for me. I just couldn't put him. I put Datsuk instead because
Pavel
he
Datsyuk.
changed the
My
game.
God, listen. It's everybody has the right to their own opinions, Junior. But no, I don't think he's number. I don't think he's the second best Russian player.
That's enough. I feel like
Oh,
I need
Nick,
to separate you
what do you
guys.
think about Kuch?
Well, I think he's probably the best Russian right now to play right now, and I don't mean to take any disrespect from Ovechkin, but um, as Ovechkin's declining in his talents now. He's at what age 41. So having Kucherov take over as the best of the best Russian right now, and maybe second would be what, Kaprizov, right
Oh,
there around there. So
Panarin too.
Panarin too, that's a good one. Yeah. See, I knew you were the Russian expert. I said it from the beginning.
Yeah, Vasilevsky. There's all kinds of Russians that played. And I think Junior forgets that most of them played in the NHL. That's why.
Listen, um,
First of
uh,
all, the top five was based off skaters, so there's no goalies involved.
talking about skaters and talking about a skater who knows how to put them in the net. Mr. Saturday Night, Cole Caulfield, with a hat trick versus the Islanders on Saturday in Montreal. He is now at 43 goals. Um, we were saying at the beginning of the year, can he hit 40 this year? And then we were saying, well, around the halfway mark, yeah, I think 40 is possible. Now we're asking ourselves, can he hit 50? Junior, can he?
Man, that's gonna be close. I think he's pacing for 51. I think right now. That hat trick definitely helped. I don't know. He's just on a ridiculous streak right now that might die out to a certain extent. I'm gonna go. He falls just short, 49.
Ooh,
Oh, that's just terrible.
ooh.
That's like Matthews hitting 69 and not 70. That's just terrible.
But why? Does it really make a difference? Just because we like round numbers, it shouldn't make a difference.
No.
No, but honestly, what a
Still a
ridiculous
great
season
feat.
he's
It's a great
having, man.
feat.
Yeah,
Yeah. Vince, I don't know if you do you have anything to add on
No,
Cole?
listen, I think it's already it's an accomplishment that a lot of us didn't think he could accomplish right now, and he did with the 40 goals. Right now, my go the wave, man. Hit 50, hit as many as you want. He's just right now. Anytime he touches the puck has more chances of going in than not going in. So I go right ahead. I believe in Cole Caulfield and with Suzuki there. Yeah, he's gonna hit 50.
Nick,
Did you?
I'm actually more impressed that he's pacing for 89 points. I mean, I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that, like, because if he hits 50 goals, I'll be more impressed. But we think of Caulfield as a
Yeah.
goal scorer naturally, but I don't think we thought he would be able to become that point per game player, and I
Yeah,
think that's
absolutely.
pretty impressive.
I think it's very impressive. Absolutely very impressive. Kind of regret not getting him in a trade. Um, there's um, there's one player that I tried getting in a trade who has a buzz cut now. He cut his hair, and all of a sudden he's getting 4 points per game since that buzz cut, and that's Slavkovsky. That's another one that's been doing really, really well
Yeah,
lately. The Habs are 27-0-3, guys. We're going to stay with the Habs here a little bit. Um, when they get 900 save percentage, they're 27-0-3. So who's more likely to give them a 900 save percentage moving forward? Are we talking Dobesh? Are we talking Fowler? Is it a 50-50 split going forward? Vince, if you were the coach of the Habs, how would you progress with this?
You go with the hot hand. Whoever is hot, that's who you put in the net. Unless it's back to back, then you give them one game each. But or else, whoever is hot, you can't start. You're in a stage in the season where you can't you can't just say, okay, my goalie's gonna get back on track. You have no time for that anymore. It's hot hand goes in. You're the hot hand. You won. Go. That's the way I would take it.
I think I saw a post that said every time Fowler's been up, or since Fowler's been up, you win, you play again. You lose, it's the next man, it's the next goalie that plays, with the exception of the back to backs. So by that standard, Fowler will play next game, but we'll see. I mean, if you go look at the underlying stats, like a save percentage is more or less the same. We're talking about 893 and 899. So it's not even 900. Go figure. Goals against average is 291 for Dobish and 272 for Fowler. Quality starts, though. Dobish has given us 19 quality starts out of 34, and Fowler 6 out of 13. So it's pretty even. It's pretty even. I think Dobish might be the guy that ends up just staying as the number one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's Dobish's crease right now, and I'm not saying that to take anything away from Fowler. I think Fowler's been doing really, really well, um, but Dobish is just has the experience to be. He started more games than Fowler. It is what it is, right? Um, some growing pains with Dobish, but I feel like there could be a lot more growing pains with Fowler. We'll see. Look, I don't think this year is the year that the Habs believe that this is their make it or break it year. I think if they make the playoffs, they're happy, and if they manage to make some noise in the playoffs, they'll be ecstatic. But I think this is another learning year for them, and I think that's what Hughes showed you when he didn't go out and get goalie help, when he didn't go out and make a trade. Right? He knows this is a building year, not a our window is totally open. If this was Bergevin, he might have traded the farm to get two or three tough guys to play on the back end, right? Like he's trying to be very patient, Hughes, and I have to commend him for that. At the same time, you kind of say to yourself, well, the other part of it is how many more cracks are you going to get at this? What if next year you have an injury to Suzuki, you don't have a center, you miss the playoffs or something like that? You never know. So you kind of want to go in it every time you have a chance to make the playoffs. They're doing a lot more patient than that. So I commend them for that. I'm not going to hit the dong yet uh, because there is another part of this that I want to talk about. One of them is not fair. So I'll explain what I'm talking about here. So, two NHL teams have two defensemen on the roster with 40 or more points this year. Montreal, Hudson has 69 points. Dobson has 45 points. Minnesota, Quinn Hughes has 69 points. Faber has 47 points. Also not fair, by the way, Junior, um, because Quinn Hughes was traded to
Yeah,
Minnesota. And
but
the third one,
Carlson and Chikrin would have been fair.
Carlson and
Okay.
Straken would have been fair. You're right. You're right about that. The other one is Anaheim with Lacombe and John Carlson now being there, 47 and 47 points respectively. So, um, is it? Are we seeing a change in the way defensemen are utilized when it comes to points? Like the offensive defenseman seems to be a lot more popular nowadays, and teams seem to have more than one nowadays. Like I don't know, Vince. What do you think is the future of defensemen in this league? Like, are we just talking about a few teams and out of 32, right? Like, it's only about 10% of the teams that have this.
Yeah,
Are we going to be seeing it more?
I think the defenseman, like the prolific 6'9" defenseman that can't really skate but can play physical. I think those are the defensemen that are being brushed out of the league slowly, because every defenseman you have on your team right now needs to know how to skate because the game is so fast, but they also need to know how to make that first pass, and that's why depth of defense is so important on teams. And when we're talking about Kucherov, goal scoring is up in the NHL, and it's going to keep on going up because it's getting more open, it's getting faster. Players are just getting more and more talented. Even like there's, it's ridiculous what some players can do. So I think yes, at the end of the day, you're gonna need two defensemen that point wise are in the top 20 to be competitive in this league. And I mean, it's more. I think as we go on through the year, we're going to see more and more teams. Instead of just two teams, we're going to see more and more teams have 240 plus defensemen on their team.
Junior, you have any insight on this?
Yeah, well, I think naturally defensemen are now are scoring more points. Like there's 5 defensemen in the top 30 of points in skaters. That's a lot compared to previous years. So and now with two defensemen being able to get points on the same team, I think we don't have to be shy away from drafting, let's say, a Dobson later on, or a Faber, or anybody that's second fiddle to a main guy, because they can still produce. Now we know the stats are out there. The other thing I wanted to mention was, what does this do to value above replacement? Now the defensemen are scoring more and more points, or I think it's called warp in hockey, but does it still have that extra value to draft a defenseman higher because there's less defensemen that get so many points? Now that, there's more defensemen hitting the 60, 70, 80 points. Something
Well,
to,
okay.
to look into in the
See,
offseason.
like this is something that we talked about often, and it seems that a lot of people still don't understand what VAR means. Value above replacement is like if I have a forward that scores 90 points, and the next best forward on my team has 70, or I have a defenseman that scores me 60 points, but my next best defenseman scores me 50, it's the same. Like there's a 20-point difference for each, right? Um, so at the end of the day, it kind of evens out the playing field when you're looking at it that way. And it's also very important to note that there's a value in a defenseman that scores 60 points, just like there's maybe more of a value of that than a forward that scores 70 points. So just to give you an idea of what value above replacement means, we've spoken about it before, but there's still a lot of people that have trouble with the concept. Um,
Nick, remember when we were mentioning what was it? 40 points last year from a defenseman was top 20 or
yep,
top 25? Top 20?
top 20 was 45 points was top 20.
45. So as we speak, 45 points is the 21st best defenseman with still
Same,
13 games left.
yeah,
With 13
yeah.
games left, and there's two other defensemen there in the 40s, and there's a few in the 39. So by the time the season ends, 45 points is probably going to be
Well,
30th
Darren
in the
Radish
league.
came out of nowhere and took over the league, so
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at the stats now, and if you look at it, every team that's not in a playoff position does not have a defenseman who's in the 40 points.
that's
And
interesting.
then you
That's
also,
interesting.
the most interesting part is you might have a team that might by the end of the season might have three defensemen in 40 points.
Which team is that?
Ah, you get one guess.
Well, I see it, so I won't say it. I was going to mention it too.
The Buffalo Sabres. They have
Oh,
the
go ahead.
Buffalo Sabres have Dahlin that has 63 points, Matthias Samuelson that has 39, and Bowen Byram that has 35.
Guys, Matthias Samuelson has
That's
39.
39.
You guys, you can add Montreal to that
Yeah,
because
Matheson
Matheson's
has
at
33.
33. He needs 7 points. It's a bit more far fetched there in 13 games, but yeah,
Matthias Samuelson. That's how
that's
we're gonna
wild.
end that segment. No, okay, no, I'm kidding. Let's.
that was the show.
That's how we should have sent off that show. That's it. All right, guys. Battle of Ontario here, and excuse me, I don't know if you noticed, but I am a little bit more nasally as I'm congested and fighting through something here. But I'm here for you guys. I'm still gonna do the show this week, even though I tried to get out of it. Battle of Ontario. Sens fans, guys, this was funny. The Sens fans were chanting to Toronto, "You need Marner." That's
So does Ottawa,
that's
though.
but that's funny. Look, one thing's for sure. Um, the league is better when fans are that emotionally involved in the game and just show a knowledge for the game by yelling at each other and Battle of Ontario. I mean, come on, this is like perfect setting. There was a few of these in the past too. I think that Winnipeg always had some really good chance. Calgary, Edmonton had really good chance when they were going up against each other. So I find this hilarious. Berube calls out his players and goalies for not making enough saves after they were completely outplayed and generated very little offense.
This guy is calling out his players every game, and they're out of the playoffs. He
It's
can't
almost
stay
like he wants
next
to
year.
be fired.
He can't stay next year. First off, let me mention Ottawa. This is why Ottawa needs a goddamn arena downtown. Because when Ottawa fans are all there and fill up those stands, they can be hilarious. Because this was hilarious. Like, come on, to come up with that chant with Toronto was already. It's like kicking someone while they're down. It was so beautiful. But this is you see what's his name Sanderson. Remember he was complaining about fans. Well, look at that. He got it. His fans got his back this week.
Junior,
Yeah, Ted Cicero, is that his name? He just went on the Sick podcast now. He joined
Sid
them.
Cicero?
Yeah,
Sid
Sid
Cicero.
Cesar. Yeah,
So he
Ted.
he was. I said Ted.
yeah. I heard Ted.
What was the show he had? It was Sid and might have been Ted. I don't
Ooh.
know. But
No,
he
I
said
lot.
on his last show that like people are watching around the league are watching the Senators and the Leafs, and they're trying to get the stars out of there, seeing the situation, especially the American teams. They want to go get the Kachuk and they want to go get that Matthews out of the Canadian team and bring them to an American team. And then he linked Matthews
It
to
was Tim and
Minnesota
Sid.
because of Tim and Sid. Yeah, you're right. He was linking Matthews to Minnesota. Anyways, he was basically saying how everybody complains about the Canadian media, but all this stuff is coming from American media. All these rumors and all these tidbits. I just found that interesting. But Ottawa needs to make the playoffs. They need to find a way to make the playoffs, or
Oof.
it's gonna get rough there too, man.
It's gonna be tough.
In Toronto, like you got outshot like 30-12, and you're saying we needed a save from the goalie. Like, are you serious right now?
But Berube teams traditionally are not high shooting teams or high scoring teams. Like they've always been this defensive team with opportunistic chances and counter attacks, and that's it, right? Um, but yeah, I get it. I get it. There hasn't been anything positive coming out of Vancouver lately. And other than them possibly getting McKenna with a first overall pick this year, um, but Marco Rossi has recently showed a bit of light at the end of that tunnel. Um, 10 points in his last 5 games. Do we see him earning that second role spot right now? Second line center spot? Or is he maybe going to do more than that if they get rid of Elias Pettersson?
Hmm.
It would be really interesting to see these guys with McKenna, by the way, on the wing.
Well, yeah, Vince, you want to go? You want to
Oh, you
take a
can
crack
go.
at it? I mean, I traded him away this year because he was injured and I needed a left winger, but I think this might be one that like I'll look back and be like I should have kept him. He's young. He's on a team where he's going to play a lot of games. He's gonna play a lot of minutes. Excuse me. You know, Besser doesn't seem to be going anywhere. They seem to be having a nice click there. The power play is running beautifully with him, Pedersen, DeBrusque. Yeah, I really like Rossi. He's on a really good contract in cap leagues. I think he could be something worthy of next year, like a league winner next year, maybe.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah,
That's big praise, league winner.
yeah. He's listen.
Yeah,
15
because he's gonna
points.
fall in drafts.
15 points in 20 games played with Vancouver. So he's found a comfort zone there. Once again, he's getting the opportunity that he wasn't getting in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, they weren't too high on him either. I mean, Gary, I think it's 2 years that he's been trying to trade him. He didn't even want to sign him when he held out. So I think he's in a more comfortable situation right now, and he's got the opportunity. But Vancouver is just like we were talking about defenseman 40 points. Vancouver has one player that has 40 points or more, which is Elias Pettersson. The rest all are under 40. So that's when you know the season was a real was a real tough one for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, they've earned a McKenna. That's basically what it comes down to. So unless
If they get him,
if they get him, because there's a
The
lottery as
glass half
well.
full, eh, Nick?
yeah.
Well, so it's curious because some Vancouver fans were saying even if we win the lottery, like even if we get the first overall pick, we might still go with Stenberg because we just love Swedes on on
Oh, and
Vancouver.
Alvin is Swede, right?
Who?
Alvin, the GM, isn't he Swedish?
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Ooh.
question. I never looked into it. Um,
I'll check it out.
but either way, I mean, I think it's really funny. Another person that's Swedish is Mika Zibanejad.
Yeah, he's Swedish.
Now there you go. Mika Zibanejad is set to play his 1,000th game this week. Despite the Rangers scoring troubles, Zibanejad has 30 goals, 67 points this year. Is it fair to expect Mika Zibanejad to keep being a point per game player only somebody like Junior would ask a question like this. So I will ask Junior, why do you think he's a point per game player, and why is this TMZ all over again?
No, because he's pacing for 80 points this year, making him just under a point per game player. So is this something we could expect next year and maybe the year after that? Like, he's on the wrong side of 30, that's for sure. But he's going to be 33 next year. But I don't know. It just feels like a big weight was lifted off everybody's shoulders since Panarin has left. And what
Right?
I'm struggling with is this just temporary? And next year we fall in the same trap, expecting big things from the Rangers, and they just falter big time and screw us all? Or is this really something that the Rangers needed to happen to let everybody loose and play freely and show their skill? I don't know. Do you guys have an idea of where you're leaning here?
I don't think it's more. It's. I don't think it's the. What word did you use there? I don't think it's to.
Over
I think.
reliance on
Yeah.
Panarin, maybe.
I just think that when Panarin was there, everything went through Panarin. And Sullivan's a first year coach, so he didn't want to change anything too drastic, so he kept it that everything went through Panarin. And when you build a system that goes through one player, you know other players are going to struggle or their stats are going to struggle. So with the Panarin off the shoulders now, other players are stepping up and saying, "Okay, well, when I get through the when I get past the blue line, I don't have to give the puck to Panarin. I could bring it in. I could, so, and I think now they're finding each other in the Rangers on what kind of team game they can play without a Panarin there. The problem is there enough talent there for Zibanejad to get the 82 points next year? And is Sullivan gonna bring in a system that's a little more defensive, like we saw with Team USA's? His system was very defensive, and then you play on the counter. So it'll be interesting. They're also playing no stress hockey, nothing to lose hockey. So people you take more risks than you would if you're in the middle of a playoff chase. But it all depends on how this team lines up next year. I believe Rangers are going to do something in free agency, so it all depends what they're going to do and how, who slates where in what spot next year.
It helps that he's playing with two young guys in Lafreniere and Gabe Perreault. It almost like it rejuvenated him too.
Hmm.
And I think all of those players are similar in the sense of they play a similar style to Zibanejad. Whereas, like Panarin, I felt like he was more of a east-west coast guy who needed the puck on his stick in order to do things. Whereas Zibanejad, I think, is more of a north-south guy. Lafreniere is more of a north-south guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I mean, I really like that line. So far, they're my favorite line out of New York to watch. And I'm very curious to see what our fellow THPN insider from the Blue Seats has to say about that. We should bring him on as a guest soon just to talk about the Rangers. Probably this offseason for sure, but maybe even before that.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. All right. One thing that I'm very excited about, and I'm very excited about this because I traded for this player. I traded away Sebastian Aho, and I got Anton Frundell as part of the package. And now Anton Frundell and Boisvert will be joining the Blackhawks during their upcoming road trip. This is going to be fun, entertaining things to watch. And I think one person that was interviewing Frundell asked him, like, who do you kind of compare yourself to in the NHL? And he ended up saying Barkov. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be his play style. Hopefully, that's going to be his career, if not better, because I own him. But Frundell is going to be fun to watch in the next coming weeks. We just had a Cole Hudson starting, right? You guys saw his first game, first empty net goal. They still count in fantasy, so it's great. And Cole Iserman also signed with the Islanders was assigned to Bridgeport right away. Maybe a little bit less hype there, but he did sign, so that's a good start for Iserman as well. Guys, there's a lot of signings around this time of the year
I think
because the
Aitchison signed
college
too. I think.
Aitchison signed as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be another big one for me. I love Aitchison. So I think it's important to note that this time of the year is when all the college free agents become start signing their contracts. All of these people whose junior leagues are finished, they start signing contracts. So, what can we expect from Frandel, Boisvert, and Eiserman this week?
Iserman, I don't think we'll expect anything. The team is in a playoff run. They're not going to bring in a rookie to come in on the team. I think with Iserman, it's more get him in the AHL, make him learn how to play with men. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, Bridgeport is in the playoff spot in the AHL, if I'm not mistaken. So uh, I think for Iserman, that's what it is. For Boisvard and Frondel, they're going to get NHL action, or else there's no reason to sign them. So they'll get their NHL action. I just temper my expectations with both those players. But like you said, Nick, the good thing for GMs that own these guys is that they signed. So they're signed. So next year there's an opportunity that they crack the lineup if they can.
So it's been reported that Frondel is gonna be slated on the wing to start. The coach actually, I think, might have even has said that himself. But down the stretch, he's probably gonna get some center, some time at center to see where he's at and how good he can be in the NHL as a center. The rumors have it that he's gonna be left wing to Bedard, and Nazar will stay on the second line with Lardis. They've been having a great connection as of late. So Chicago could be a fun team to watch down the stretch here.
Well,
As for Boisvert, we'll see. I want to see before I place judgment on Boisvert. I'm not 100% convinced yet that it can be fantasy relevant, but
another one though that should be in Chicago is Kanserov. So
mm,
I think his season is in the KHL is finished, if I'm not mistaken.
and it's his
Mhm.
final year of the contract.
I think so. I think next
Yeah.
year there's a possibility of all three of them being on a line together.
Wow. Can you? So you basically have Bedard, Frondel, and let's say Burakovsky for now. Nazar, Lardis, and Oliver Moore, and Bertuzzi, Teravainen, and Donato.
And
If they don't have
Kanserov.
it, that's if Boisvert doesn't take that third line center.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the plan for Chicago. You could see how it's building towards something. They just need more. I don't think
Yeah,
it's enough yet. I just don't think it's enough. So we'll
you're right.
see. This year, imagine they win a lottery.
Just to touch on Iserman, I want to see in the AHL if because he's known for his shot, right? So I want to see in the AHL if he can, if his shot is as effective, because that'll determine how successful he can be playing against the big boys.
Okay, I'm going to mention some names here. Next topic, key injuries of the week. Eriksson Ek, Kaprizov, both day to day. They've missed a few games this week. McCann day to day. Connor Zary took a really bad hit.
3 game
Uh,
suspension, by the way. AJ Greer.
AJ Greer 3 game. That was boarding. Like if you
That
needed a
was.
textbook example of boarding, that's exactly what it was.
I want to know what it's going to take to get an in-person hearing in the NHL.
Yeah, whatever.
He's too
Um,
busy. He's too busy. He
Lund-
doesn't have time to talk to players.
well, okay, look, it's not that. You know that the in-person hearing. Like I wasn't gonna go into this, but now you guys are just like egging me on. In person, the in-person hearing is on Zoom. I hope you guys know that it's not an actual in-person hearing.
No,
It's
but what
on
I'm
Nick,
Zoom.
the point of it is
Nick,
that it's more than 5 games. That's
Yes,
the point
I know. But
here.
if then just don't call it an in-person hearing anymore. Call it something what it
Yeah,
is.
okay. That's another
More than five
stupid
games.
thing to.
Um, but like the problem is if you do more than 5 games, then the NHLPA hires an arbitrator to contradict what you did, and then they lower it anyways. So what the hell's the point? Like it's at least this way you know that you're getting 3 games, you're getting 5 games. That's what it is, and I think that's what they're in the end they're doing. They don't want to get arbitrators involved. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Lundell day to day, and Chernyshov is also day to day. Key players returning to the lineup. Landeskog is back in the lineup. and Jake Sanderson is back in the lineup. So obviously, you guys probably already know this because fantasy hockey. You probably have a site that tells you these things, but we just wanted to run by it one more time. All right, Junior, why don't you do the open question because I'm starting to lose my voice.
Okay, so we had a question from at Open Ice Hits account on TikTok, which asked, "Do you think we overanalyze the confidence thing? Like, if he's really meant to be a great goaltender, do you really think a few bad games would throw him off his path?" Hold on, what did I do here? Yeah, throw him off his path. I think this is a narrative we use to have an excuse if things don't work out, or to justify delaying giving a young kid a chance and going with the bold move. So, Vince, this is a
Yeah,
really loaded question, but I'll save my take for the end.
I'll
Where do you
handle the
stand on this confidence thing?
Well, okay,
well,
wait.
the
Just to give back context, because we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, we're talking about Jacob Fowler here, right?
Yes, that's where this question
yes.
came from, but we could generalize it if you want.
No, no, we'll keep at Jacob. But what I'm saying is confidence does have. You have to take confidence into effect, and I mean, don't go further than Montembeau. Last year, Montembeau was top five goalie, top 10 goalie. Why? He had the confidence to be in the net. He had confidence that he could make that save. Now he can't even be a backup goalie to the Montreal Canadiens. So when a goalie loses confidence, it's you have to take that into consideration with goaltenders, and the good goaltenders are the ones that are never going to put themselves in that situation. It's like I was saying last episode with Fowler, we haven't seen enough of Fowler to say, oh well, he's gonna after one bad loss he's gonna lose his confidence. We can't say that because we haven't seen enough of him. Now, the only way to see enough of him is like the listener was saying is you have to play him, and he's right. He's right. People are using the whole we don't want to ruin his confidence, but how are you gonna know if he's gonna be a good goalie if you don't even not provoke if you don't even challenge his confidence? And I think that's where Montreal needs to sit down and say, listen, he's a young goalie. He's going to be our number one. At some point, we're going to have to put him through the challenges of what a real NHL goaltending life is, with its ups and downs, with its highs and lows, and how he reacts to those. So I do believe right now Montreal is protecting Fowler and using that whole confidence word to prevent him from just taking a number one spot right away. But like I said, if you're planning on him being the number one goalie, you need to throw him to the fire at some point and see what he could do.
Okay, so first to add open ice hits, thank you for the question because this is the whole reason we do this podcast. We want to be able to converse and talk about hockey matters and fantasy hockey and all these things. So thank you very much for the question. Um, I want to be clear. My issue is not was never whether or not he's going to be a good goalie in the NHL or not. My issue was that he's very young still, and it is very rare for a goalie of this age to be playing against men in the NHL and to have success. Now, we could go back if you want examples. We could go talk about Devin Levi. He had a strong stretch at one point, 21 years old, and then he fell off a cliff. And now it's taking him a lot of time to get back to the NHL. I mean, I could keep going for examples, but there aren't that many Carey Prices out there that just come out of the juniors at 20 years old, at 21 years old, whatever it is, and all of a sudden takes over the net and never looks back, right? Like we got to be careful because in Montreal we've been spoiled with some of these goalies, young goalies coming out and doing amazing things right off the bat. It's not going to be every time that, and I would not want to be, you know, a team that rushes a young goalie in order to have to send him back to the AHL for 3 or 4 years, like Levi has been, in order to get him back his confidence in coming back to the NHL and getting ready for the NHL. So it's not so much as, do you throw him to the wolves and see what happens? I mean, sure, yes, but at the same time, he's still very young. Are you sure that's what you want to do at this point? Because we're going to need him in a couple of years. So, again, I just wanted to give my context behind the question.
I think there's a few things to note. Like, it depends on the player too. Not all players have the same mental strength. There's some players that Carey Price, for instance, and even him, he had his issues at times, but where they come in and they're mentally strong enough to ride those waves, the roller coaster that is an NHL season and an NHL career. And there's others, like maybe you mentioned Levi, that maybe can't handle that kind of thing or are still growing into it. Like these guys are still young. They're still developing mentally. They're still developing physically. So that too comes into play. Maybe they're not fully ready. But at the end of the day, right now what they're doing with Fowler is not so bad. He didn't play the full season. They're giving him bits and pieces where he earns it, and if he's good enough to keep playing, he's good enough to keep playing. If he's not good enough to keep playing, then they put the other guy. So I don't mind what they're doing. Next year they'll have to make a decision, but yeah, I think it really depends on the player because it's not necessarily a confidence thing. It's more a development thing, and so many careers have did not achieve expectations because they weren't properly developed by their organization. And I strongly believe that. So hopefully it's a fine line between rushing someone and saying they're ready because it could really like derail their career. It's happened way too many times.
That's what I was trying to say, is that it's happened many, many times. Even guys like Spencer Knight, right? Spencer Knight, they were saying, oh, we're going to probably get rid of Bobrovsky and have Knight as the number one goalie. And thank God they kept Bobrovsky because Knight wasn't ready at that point. Now he's going to Chicago and now he's showing something. But, he wasn't ready at that time. So, and now he's 24 years old. 24 years old is where you see goalies really start taking off in the NHL. So I just wanted to...
Maybe the problem is the word that's being used. Maybe it's the term confidence instead of development.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's the term of confidence that's causing the issue.
All right, guys, that does it for the Odd Man Rush.
It's really low. There we go.
Odd Man Rush.
All right, and now a word from our sponsor. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shot. Don't laugh, that was me with my nose blocked saying shift. Every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved.
That Nick affectionately calls Pebble, but no one else likes it
Do I have to do this segment? Okay, so we're just gonna skip the whole weekly points, or because it's not really important.
Nick's like, what's going on here? I know why he's skipping it.
All right, guys, we'll give Nick his props. Team Hades has so
Hades.
far Hades has so far. Wow, pick a name that people could pronounce. Jesus,
Uh,
has the most points this week
Here we go. Money talk.
with 162 points. Obviously, that doesn't help him because he's still at the bottom of the list. So, but let's talk about the guys that are on the top of the list. We have Vito P. I'm just putting up the standings now. Vito P, who is 37 points in front of Bull Nose 7 and 60 points in front of Drew 22 and 62 points in front of Listener Bats 2 and 68 points in front of David Hockey. Now, you might tell yourself, that's a lot of points for 5 weeks, but not in our league. And I'll tell you why. This week, Draw 22 gained 32 points on Vito P. Only
wow.
in 1 week. So Draw 22 had 156 points, second most. David Hockey, who's in fifth, and I think 68 points, he finished with 149. Vito P, if I can get Vito P had 126. So they both gained 25 to 30 points on first place. So the next 5 weeks is going to be really interesting in this league. And this is what's fun. This is where it becomes fun with this league. If you're contending, if you're like me, if you're like myself, Junior, Nick, we'll just talk about it and this are in despair of how bad our teams are. But this is where now it becomes so. Well, you are in despair, Nick. Just because you won the week doesn't mean that your team is doing any good.
Nick is
I
top
mean,
15.
Yeah, what are you talking
And
about?
Junior's top 11. Junior's 11 and 16. Nick is at 15. And
It's
Nick
you that
18.
is
sucks. You
You
Nick is
are
suck.
at
at 22, bro.
first thing. Nick is at 6, not
You
15. Junior,
suck,
don't
bro.
put yourself in front of
No,
Nick.
not this week. Overall standings, Vince.
Yeah, overall stand. Oh yeah, overall.
6 is
Sorry, I'm looking
listener
at this week.
bats.
Yeah. So 15. Hey, if you're not first, you're last. So shut
Yeah.
up. These guys. All of a sudden, I finished 15th. I won my participation award. Here we go. Okay, back to here. So we have about 5 weeks left. I it was inter- I s- we actually saw I saw Vito P yesterday at a birthday party, and we were discussing this. And now he goes. What he's hoping is that the other players are behind him go the same way as him and pick the same players as him, so that he doesn't lose as many points. But because this league is so wide open, meaning that you can pick any players, you just have to play with a salary cap. This is where it gets tricky in the next 5 weeks for the top five players. Like, who are the obvious choices and how to stay away from them, but replace them with choices that are better. So this week, what I'm gonna ask you boys is not what you did with your lineup, because it doesn't matter what you did with your lineup because you're nowhere to be on top. But my question to you guys is, and you can answer after I tell you guys the schedule, is who are the obvious ones, and who are the players that you guys think won't get picked as much but could have a good week? So we have a few teams that are playing 4 games. We have Anaheim, Boston, Buffalo, Carolina, Colorado, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Nashville, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Vancouver, and Vegas. They all play 4 games. The only team that plays 2 games is the Washington Capitals. So obviously, those top five players should stay away from the Washington Capitals. Uh, Strength of scheduling. The best strength of schedule is the Carolina Hurricanes. They play 4 games at home against Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. Second one is Dallas, who plays Vancouver, Calgary, Colorado, and Chicago. and third is Vegas, who plays Buffalo, Detroit, Minnesota, and Edmonton. So listen, I'll give you my opinion. I would, and not that it's going to help because my team's, as
Vince,
Nick and
who
Junior
did you say
stated,
Vegas is playing?
Vegas is playing Buffalo, Detroit, Minnesota, and Edmonton. Or
I
is this?
think you're on the wrong week.
Wait, let me see. Yeah, I am on the wrong week. Sorry. Okay, let's go. Strength of schedule this week. Huh, Boston Bruins. Wow, that's a twister. Okay, so Boston Bruins have strength of schedule with Toronto, Buffalo, Minnesota, Columbus. New York Rangers second. Easiest Ottawa, Toronto, Chicago, Florida. Florida has the third with Seattle, Minnesota, Islanders, and Rangers. I mean, I don't know if I would trust any Boston players besides Pasternak, but how are you guys looking at this week? Like you're looking at the schedules, you're looking at the teams playing. Junior, who are in your opinion, the obvious choice that you see has the easiest schedule?
The obvious choice.
Yeah,
I mean, I I like Ottawa schedule. They're playing desperate hockey. They have the Rangers, the Red Wings, the Penguins, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't think that many people are going to go with that many Senators, but I think that's a good option. The same could be said for Columbus, too. They have 4 games. They're playing the Flyers, the Canadians, the Sharks, and the Bruins.
I'll say
Yeah.
something.
Go ahead.
oh, Nick, I hope you're saying who I'm saying. Go.
Guys, don't look now, but Jet Greaves, Columbus has a weak schedule. I really like Jet Greaves as a minimum salary goaltender that has a chance this week.
Okay.
That's a very good point.
What do you guys think about the Chicago Blackhawks schedule? I know they're not a very good team,
Connor
but
Bedard is playing 4 times, so he's going
yeah,
in right away.
they're playing the Islanders, Philly, Rangers, and Devils. So it's not a very tough schedule that they have, all away from home. But still, Chicago could be an interesting player, especially that they have some nice ELC contracts that you can put in there.
I just feel like they don't score enough, though.
Hmm.
Cole
That's the only
Caulfield,
thing
though,
that's
scores a
scary.
lot, and he's playing 4 times
Oh,
this week.
And he only makes $7.8 million.
Right? How
yeah.
nice is Cole Caulfield in this lineup?
Actually, I'll give you one. They're only playing 3 games, so might be hidden a little bit. But a Panarin and Kempe this week against Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah could do some serious damage.
Yeah.
And I don't think maybe they're gonna fly off the radar because they're only playing 3 games.
Anybody else, Nick? Do you see any other team with 3 games that you think might have, there might be a player sneaky that comes out of there?
Well, I mean, there's always somebody, but I can tell you who has not been doing well is Vegas,
Hmm.
and the Oilers are playing the Mammoth, Vegas, and Anaheim this week. Might be an opportunity for Bouchard, $10 million, but he's a hell of a defenseman that puts up points.
Yeah, I would try to stay away from Detroit players because they're playing two critical playoff teams, or teams that are fighting for playoffs in Ottawa and Buffalo. So those games might be a little tight defensive games, so there might not be a lot of scoring in those 2 games. And then
Would you
we
guys?
have
What about Zibanejad? Playing 4 games
he,
this week. Do you ride the hot hand? He's gonna play his 1,000th game.
he's
Playing
they're
Ottawa, Toronto, Chicago,
and Florida, not
and
big
Florida.
teams. Yeah, that could be another great move. So you see, there could be a lot of options right now, and I'm not sure that this week there's a sure thing. Like I think I agree with Nick. The only sure one I would put right now is Bedard in my lineup, just because he's playing four games and he's on an ELC contract. But after that, it can go
Don't
any
sleep on
way.
Lafreniere.
Oh yeah, but he's at 7.5, right? So it all depends how they're gonna
No,
do. So
Alex.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
yeah,
was looking at Alex Lafreniere.
Lafreniere, yeah, from
I keep getting
LA.
these guys. I keep getting these guys mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah. So listen, so this week it's gonna be really interesting. This league is gonna go to the wire for sure. We have I just want to see how many weeks we have left to the
Should
schedules.
be 5 weeks, I think.
Let me check schedule.
That's
Vito
sucking
P
in
cannot.
sound.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, 4 weeks. It
yeah.
looks like it's four
Because
weeks.
we
Sounds
have
of the
1
Lamb
week
style.
here, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks. But the fourth week is 1 or 2 games per team.
Yeah, so 3 weeks. So I mean, Vito P can't have another off week, that's for sure, because then people are gonna get even closer. So it's gonna be really interesting to see where that goes. And by the way, Junior, I got a comment from one of our listeners. He's not very happy with you.
Who?
Just to let you know,
About what?
he's still waiting for his merch.
Oh, yes, listener Umbi.
Yeah, but he's our older brother, so he could wait all his life. We don't care.
I told him, remind me.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, what
He
about
can-
Yanni? Did Yanni get his merch or what?
No, I don't have it. Or do I have it? I have it, but I don't know where it is right now.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
But
my
I
God.
haven't seen him. I haven't
We're
seen
so
him.
bad.
We
I have
should
a
Fine
dinner.
with just shipping it. That's it.
I have a
have to-
dinner with his April 25th. I have a dinner with his family, so
we have
I'll
to.
I'll
We
make
have
sure to bring it then.
Oh man, we're gonna have to FedEx our stuff. Our co-hosts are not reliable enough to hand in this merch on time. But so there
Ce-
you go, guys. Go, Nick.
Celebrini Bedard is going in everybody's lineup again.
Maybe. Listen, but that's the key thing is who goes where goes what, and we'll only find out at the end of the week. So, nah, the papier. So listen, to all the five, I'll say it. I think there's only five people. Listener bats the third team is 85 points. I think that's a little too much, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think especially that Droll 22 gained 30 points just this week. I think the top five are still in it over here. So good luck to all top five listeners. Wishing you all the best of luck. And listen, it'll be exciting next week to see if anybody closed the gap or if Vito P took off and widened the gap. So, do you guys have anything else to add for the Pebble League?
I think it's impressive that Nick gained 40 points on first place.
I was first and sixth this week. I mean, come
I
on.
can't believe you guys are
Thank you
going,
for throwing me some flowers.
You never quit on a fantasy pool. You hear me?
That's right, quitter, Vince.
Oh my god, you guys are the ones where your kids are going
Where
to
are
finish
you, anyways?
seventh. Your kids are going to finish seventh in the league, and you're going to ask for a trophy. Unbelievable.
I'm not gonna ask for a
we're going to
trophy.
look back at the season and say, where did we go wrong? Where could we improve?
Did you have
Well,
fun?
I'll tell you
But
where
when
I
there's
went
4
wrong.
weeks left, we're going to tell him you keep fighting as if you could still win.
No, definitely not. I'll tell you where I went wrong. Where I went wrong is that I should have just stuck with the same team all year long, and it was gonna work because my max D team, I didn't touch them all year, and they're ahead of my other two teams. So that's what went wrong.
I think that goes to show how bad you are during the week.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, I'm in the rebuilding phase now. That's what it is. It's not my fault.
This was a fun episode, guys.
Vince, I think you have a special joke for us today. Not
Yes.
a dad joke.
I know you guys missed it, but yes, obviously the passing of Chuck Norris, who for guys our age was like just a staple and a phenom. There was always all kinds of jokes or sayings about Chuck Norris. So here's one. What happened when Chuck Norris does push-ups? He doesn't push himself up. He pushes the earth down.
Here's another one for you guys. The sharks wait for Chuck Norris to get out of the ocean before they go in. All right, guys.
Hey, rest
All
in
right,
peace.
people.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris.
Have
One
a
of the
great night.
funnest people.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you on the Fantasy Lens. Maybe.